The evolution of flight attempts in ancient times. When we look at early attempts at flight throughout ancient history, we find that many civilizations tried to achieve the dream of flying. These attempts were a blend of mythology and experimental innovations. The myth of Icarus and Daedalus. Daedalus, a master craftsman and inventor, known for his intelligence and building skills. He built the labyrinth on the island of Crete to imprison the Minotaur, a creature that was half man, half bull. Icarus, Daedalus' son, a young and adventurous spirit. Daedalus and Icarus were imprisoned in the labyrinth on Crete by King Minos, after Daedalus helped Theseus kill the Minotaur. Daedalus decided to escape the island by making wings for himself and his son using feathers and wax. Before flying, Daedalus warned Icarus not to fly too close to the sun or the sea. The first warning was about the risk of the wax melting from the sun's heat, while the second was about the sea's moisture weighing down the wings. When they began flying, Icarus, caught in the thrill of flight, soared higher into the sky, ignoring his father's warnings. He flew too close to the sun, which caused the wax on his wings to melt, and he fell into the sea. Icarus drowned, while Daedalus lived with the sorrow and loss of his son. This story is one of the oldest tales reflecting humanity's dream of flight, even though it was originally fictional. Chinese balloon experiments in the 3rd century AD. In the 3rd century AD, some Chinese inventors developed simple flight games using balloons. These inventors attached fire to fabric to create a heat effect that would cause the balloon to rise. While these were not real airplanes, they at least paved the way for understanding the physical principles that would lead to later inventions like hot air balloons. Abbas ibn Firnas, the Andalusian inventor. Abbas ibn Firnas was a renowned Andalusian scientist and inventor. He studied the movement of birds and their wings, as well as how they soar through the air. He conducted various calculations related to weight, speed, and wind, designing large wings covered in feathers, inspired by bird wings. He used silk to make the wings light and strong. In 875 AD, Abbas ibn Firnas decided to conduct his experiment near the Al-Razafa Palace in Córdoba. He invited people to watch his test. Abbas ibn Firnas jumped from a high place and succeeded in flying for a short time, soaring in the air for a while. However, his experiment was incomplete because he had not included a tail in his design, leading to a fall and injury. Abbas ibn Firnas did not die from his experiment. He recovered and returned to his normal life after a period of treatment. His experiment is considered a milestone in the history of flight, inspiring many scientists and inventors who came after him. Medieval European attempts at flight. During the Middle Ages, some European scientists and artists began to think about how to achieve flight. Among them, John of Desaguliers, a medieval engineer who designed a prototype of a winged aircraft. However, he was unable to make it practical. There were also primitive attempts using moving wings, but most of these failed due to a lack of understanding of key physical laws like aerodynamics. Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci's designs. With the beginning of the Renaissance in the 15th century, a new group of thinkers like Leonardo da Vinci developed many mechanical designs for flying machines, such as glider-like machines and simple engine-driven aircraft. However, their inventions were not feasible during their time. The Wright brothers, the dream realized. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, played a central role in achieving humanity's dream of flight, as they were among the first to invent an aircraft that could fly under controlled conditions with an engine. From a young age, Orville and Wilbur were interested in inventions and technology, particularly flight. They observed birds and their wing movements, studying how to achieve flight with a human-made device. In 1899, the Wright brothers began their serious pursuit of aviation when they decided to study and follow the science of flight in a more systematic and precise way, benefiting from previous research like Samuel Langley's experiments and gliders, which demonstrated basic aerodynamic concepts. Before inventing their engine-powered aircraft, the the Wright brothers began developing gliders to test wing designs and understand how to control a flying machine in the air. They used a slope in North Carolina to test gliders in 1900. In 1903, after years of experimentation, the Wright brothers achieved their major invention. The Wright Flyer 1, on December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers successfully completed the first recorded flight in history with an engine-powered aircraft. The flight took place in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The aircraft was equipped with a small gasoline engine, weighing 274 kilograms. The airplane had cloth-covered wings with a wooden frame and a light weight. The wingspan was about 12 meters. The aircraft successfully flew a distance of 36.5 meters, about 120 feet, in its first flight, with subsequent flights increasing in distance. The second flight was longer, covering 105 meters, marking the first sustained flight where the pilot was able to control the aircraft continuously. This flight was a significant scientific achievement, proving that humans could fly using an engine and maintain control over the aircraft. After the initial success, the Wright brothers continued to improve their designs. In the following years, they developed more powerful engines and more efficient wings to increase the aircraft's ability to fly longer distances and faster. In 1905, the Wright brothers developed the Wright Flyer 3, which was more stable and capable of flying for longer periods, being the first aircraft capable of sustained flight for several hours. After their successes in aviation, the Wright brothers began marketing their invention and sought financial support to develop commercial aircraft. In 1908, they showcased their aircraft in the United States and Europe. Military aircraft were also developed several years after their invention. In 1911, the U.S. military used the first Wright aircraft for military purposes. The engine-powered aircraft invented by the Wright brothers marked a turning point in the history of aviation, as it was the first aircraft capable of flying and maintaining stability in the air, thanks to a gasoline engine and advanced control techniques. Their aircraft laid the scientific foundations for modern aeronautical engineering, serving as the basis for numerous innovations in aircraft, both for transportation and military purposes. The Wright brothers are regarded as the fathers of aviation, because their invention marked the beginning of the modern era of flight. From mythical stories like that of Daedalus and Icarus to groundbreaking inventions by the Wright brothers, the evolution of flight attempts showcases humanity's relentless pursuit of the skies. Each step, whether mythological or scientific, paved the way for the modern aviation breakthroughs we now take for granted. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. See you in more stories.